Hey everyone, welcome back to Chapter 1 and Beyond. And today's episode is all about the top historical fiction novels. And I think, honestly, when I think of like um, top books for historical fiction, there are quite a few that come to mind, but I would like to do a spin-off on this. So I thought it would be fun to ask ChatGPT what it would rate as the top 10 of historical fiction in the last 5 years. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put together a list of what I think is the top 10 historical fiction novels from roughly the last 5 years as well. So, get cozy, grab your drink, and let's just dive right into it. All right, so the first thing I did, and I think we're kind of in a good spot here. Okay, so I think what I'm gonna do, I just asked ChatGPT, what would you rate as top 10 of historical fiction books in the last 5 years? Some of these titles I have not heard of, so bear with me. Um, but it responded with yes. Okay. So the first book it responded with was The New Life by Tom Crew, 2023. Set in 1890s London, this novel imagines early civil rights work around gay identity and social reform. It's received strong acclaim for its depth and style. I've never heard of this book, but that actually sounds pretty flippin' good. Um, so yeah. Book two is called The Fraud by Zadie Smith, 2023. This is a historical fiction set in mid 19th century England around a celebrated trial in themes of identity, race, and literature. Um, Once again, never heard of that book, but sounds interesting. Book three that's on the list is called Horse by Geraldine Brooks, 2022. It's got multiple timelines, 1850s, 1950s, and 2019, weaving together the story of a famous racehorse and the legacy of slavery in the U.S. and art world. Um, yeah, I've never heard of that one. Interesting. Um, Number four, Violetta by Isabel Allende, Allende. 2022, spanning nearly a century in a fictional South American country, examining upheaval, politics, love, and survival. Book 5, The Women by Kristen Hanna, 2024, set during the Vietnam War era, focusing on a young nurse in the U.S. Army. Strong female protagonist and immersive historical setting. Absolutely. I have read that book, so I have heard of that one. The Mirror in the Light by Hilary Mantel, 2020, the final installment of her Thomas Cromwell trilogy set in Tudor England. It still counts in the last 5 years and is powerful in scope and detail. Okay, ChatGPT, you're really getting detailed with your descriptions here. Let's see. The Memory Keeper of Kiev by Aaron Letikin? Letikin? I don't know. Litteken. Set in the Ukraine during the 1920s famine and collectivization era, and later focusing on survival, memory, and family. That sounds really sad. Ooh, never heard of that book either. All right, number 8, I Must Betray You by Ruta Sepetys. 2022, a dual timeline thriller style historical fiction set in Romania just before the 1989 revolution. Tense, vivid, less common era. Yeah, I don't really hear too many historical fictions that actually encompass the 1980s. So that's actually, I don't know, ChatGPT might be giving me some more picks to put on my to be read list, which is probably not a great thing because I'm trying to decipher. those books so bad. Okay, book 9, The Final Revival of Opal and Nev by Donnie Walton, 2021. Fictional music industry story, but rooted in real history, 1970s rock, race relations, unique blend of historical fiction. I have not heard of that one, but it's interesting because like when I think of like the 60s and 70s, I think of Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. So it sounds like maybe that one might be. I don't know. I don't know too much about this one, but it kind of reminded me of that, the Daisy Jones and the Six. Okay, and then book 10, um, the 10th book that's on this list is Wayward by Amelia Hart, 2023. This one blends historical timelines 1619, 1942, 2019, and has been noted as a standout in the genre recently. Um, Oh, and even ChatGPT gave me a reason why. Why these picks? They cover diverse eras and geographies from Victorian England to South America, Vietnam War, Ukraine, U.S. slavery legacy, etc. Strong storytelling with historical insight, whether it's clear historical events or lesser known epochs, these offer more than just old times. They resonate recent enough to reflect current trends in historical fiction, themes of identity, memory, marginalized voices, rather than going far back. Many have been critically acclaimed or won awards. A few tips if you pick one. Interesting. If you like strong female leads and war era storytelling, try The Women or The Final Revival of Opal in Nev. If you prefer more political, intellectual historical settings, The New Life, The Fraud. For multi timeline layered narratives, Horse, Violetta, Wayward. Okay, interesting. If you want something more traditional, epic, historical, with deep research, The Mirror and the Light. If you if you're into underrepresented histories, The Memory Keeper of Kiev, I Must Betray You. Interesting. Okay. Um so yeah, three-quarters of that list I've never even heard of. So that's interesting. See, like there's beauty in, ChatGPT sometimes. So, um so I have recently in the last 5 years not really read too many historical fiction, but I do like this genre because I do like World War II era, honestly, like even World War One era, um, and then um, I know there's quite a few when it comes to World War II that I have read, but All the Light We Cannot See, that is an iconic one that I've read. Absolutely love that book. I mean, it was sad. It was very sad. I was crying like a lot during that book. And then my first exposure into historical fiction was The Four Winds by Kristen Hanna, and that book really got me emotional too. Definitely recommend that one if you're looking for something during the era of the Dust Bowl and all that. The level of what those poor people had to go through. That one is like a staple of staying on my shelf. And then, of course, as mentioned by ChatGPT and even by myself, The Women by Kristen Hanna, that one got me sobbing too. Um, just like how that poor woman like came back from the war and like it just everything that kind of like fell into that book. I think it just like kind of like mixed in all of the emotions that I felt for that character, and Kristen Hanna does a fantastic job of encompassing, where you really feel for those characters and you like really get a grip of like the reality for those characters and it's just like I'm gonna gut punch you. So, The Great Alone by Kristen Hanna. I feel like most of my historical fiction picks are probably Kristen Hanna because, like, I've read a lot of her books. I've read, like I said, The Four Winds by her, The Women. I have read The Great Alone. I did get emotional with that one, but not as intense as The Four Winds and The Women. Um, I know a lot of people claim that that is the book that really gets them crying. The Nightingale by um, Kristen Hanna, another pick of mine from historical fiction. That one, oh my gosh, that one really had me sobbing. And then They Went Left. I can't remember who the author is. I did used to own that book, but I did donate it because I was like, this is a one and done. It's too sad, and I like feeling all the feels when it comes to these books, but at the same time too, like if it really makes me emotional and I'm like, yeah, I can't reread this again. So, but yeah, They Went Left, Nightingale. I'm just gonna keep repeating the titles that I'm listing because I am literally doing this off of memory. Um, All the Light We Cannot See, The Women, The Four Winds. Those are still on my shelf. The Great Alone. Probably said that a million times. Sorry. Um, yeah. I mean, Diary of Anne Frank. I know I read that one like middle school, high school. I mean, just everything that's in that book is just emotional and gripping from World War II. Water for Elephants by Sarah Gruen. I believe that's her last name. Gruen, I believe. Ah, yeah. Gruen. That one was a good book too. That one, like, um, early, I believe it was 1920s. Maybe it's later. It doesn't really say on the cover, but I know this one was like about a circus and like a family that like works for a circus and all that. It was very good, but it was like some of the elements in that book, holy guacamole. Like that one's another one that I would definitely recommend picking up. And then The Exiles by Christina Baker Klein talks about like the prisoners from uh I believe it was like the UK, and they get shipped off to Australia in like some pretty brutal conditions. That book was absolutely emotional wreck for me. Cuz like there was like a lot of elements about motherhood and like how these women are being treated for stupid peddless crimes that they're being like accused of, and they're being shipped off like, a slaughter for animals, if you will. But um dang, yeah, that one was emotional too. um like I'm just looking at some of like the historical fictions that I usually have on my shelf, but I'm trying to think if there was other ones that I've had prior. um I know this is kind of like word vomit when it comes to these episodes, but I'm just curious if you guys have any top picks for historical fiction books too. So, if you want to leave it in the comments of the YouTube video, or if you want to connect up on Facebook, I would love to have you guys. But I guess like I could like also talk about some of the historical fictions that I haven't read that are on my shelf. I'm looking at The Queen's Gambit by Walter Tevis. I think that's a historical fiction. I believe it's about like the game masters, like the chess players. I'm trying to think. I don't know if this would be considered historical fiction though. Yeah, US Open Championships. It's like about like chess and stuff, but it's actually a Netflix series. I do have that one on my list, and that one I would have to like double check to make sure that is considered a historical fiction. Um, now that I look at my shelf, I'm like, dude, I don't really have that much when it comes to historical fiction. And that makes me sad because there are some really great titles. Pachinko, I don't know if that would be considered historical fiction. I heard that is a pretty emotional read. Um, Magic Hour by Kristen Hanna. I have no idea what that one's about, but I do have that one on my shelf too. And I know she is just flat out a historical fiction author. So, let's see. What else do I got? Yeah, I don't see anything else because the rest of it is just like all, um, yeah, it's all fantasy. Oh my gosh. This is terrible. I need to like kind of mix it up a little bit. I have like nothing but fantasy and sci-fi remaining on my shelf now. Um, that's crazy and bizarre. Oh wait, I still have all my cards and stuff. Crap. Um, let's see here. No, that's all fantasy. Nope, that's all sci-fi. Yep, high fantasy. Classic. Yep, classic. Yeah, classic. I mean, In Pieces, that's nonfiction. That's a memoir. Um, yeah, there is nothing on there. Let's see. And then, yeah, no. I literally have nothing but classic, sci-fi, and fantasy books on my shelf. That is crazy. Um, Hang on, let me check my want to read list. Hang on. Okay. Yeah, I keep scrolling through my list. Uh, Yeah, I do have Wayward on here. I gave that a 3 stars. I have like a hard time with multiple POVs and like bouncing around, so maybe that's why I gave it a 3 star. It's been a while since I've read that book. I'm trying to see what else I have on my list. Yeah, I already talked about the women. My dog is going crazy upstairs. My gosh, this dog. I mean, I really love this genre, but I really need to expand on it now that I'm looking at this. Yeah, I have The Nightingale. Looks like I read that one in 2022 by Kristen Hanna. Then I got All the Light We Cannot See by Anthony Doerr. I gave that a 5 stars, and I read that one also in 2022. Let's see. I don't think Poet X would be considered a historical fiction. No, that one's just YA. Let's see here. Yeah, these are all nonfiction. They Went Left by Monica Hess. That's the one. That one I gave a 5 star, and that was when 2021 I read that. Yeah, 1945 Germany about a librarian. Uh, oh no, liberated concentration camps. Yeah, it wasn't a librarian. Trying to think. The Great Alone by Kristen Hanna. The Four Winds by Kristen Hanna. Let's see. That's nonfiction. I'm just like going through the list. So I hope you guys don't mind this, but let's see here. There's one more, and I cannot think of the name of the title, and I have to like mention it in this episode. Why can I not remember what it was? I mean, I already mentioned Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I believe that is a historical fiction. Yes, it is. Yeah, that was about the band that I gave that one a 4 stars. Actually, that was like my first exposure to Taylor Jenkins Reid too. Wow, why can I not remember what the name of that title was? I mean, I'm pretty precise when it comes to my reading logs, so I'm just like scrolling through this thing. Um, Dang. I really wish I could remember that title. Well, yeah, I can't find it, nor can I remember it. and I don't want to keep you guys on here for too long because, um, yeah, I legit could like scroll through them, I think, um, over and over again. But, um, yeah, I don't know. Wait one sec. I just was curious because now that I'm realizing how little of historical fiction I do have beyond just like um, Kristen Hanna and stuff. It's actually kind of embarrassing. um, I'm asking ChatGPT what are some all-time historical fiction picks, no time limit that uh ChatGPT would recommend. So it just gave me a list. So excellent. Now we're talking timeless historical fiction. These are the books that constantly sit at the top of the best of all time lists, beloved by critics and readers for their ability to transport you through centuries, continents, and conflicts, while still feeling deeply human. Here's a well rounded top 15 all time historical fiction recommendations, covering different eras and styles. I'll also note why each stands out and which is perfect for you. Okay, so classics of the genre. Number one, The Pillars of the Earth by Ken Follett. Setting 12th century England during the building of a cathedral. Why it's great. Sweeping scope, architecture, religion, love, betrayal, and power struggles. A true epic that defend modern historical fiction. Now, like I've said in previous episodes, I am not a romance girly in any way, shape, or form. So I don't know if they're referring to love and betrayal through the sense of like building this cathedral. I have never heard of this book. Um, it sounds interesting because like that is a totally different century era, if you will, that I actually have never really read before. I have heard of Ken Follett, but I have never heard of this particular title. So I think honestly, I'm gonna end up putting this on my want to read list and probably getting this from the library in the future. But I'm sure it'll probably be like ages down the line before I actually read this book. So, okay. The next one on the list was Wolf Hall by Hilary Mantel. Setting is Tudor England, Thomas Cromwell's rise under Henry VIII. Why it's great. Immersive perspective, razor sharp prose, and political intrigue won the Booker Prize, and its sequel did too. Now, I have heard of Hilary Mantel. I have not read any of her books actually. That one sounds fantastic too. Just because like you don't get too many books that focus on Henry VIII. Um, yeah, I'm very interested in this book. I may have to pick this one up. All right, I already talked about the Nightingale. Of course, this one's on the list. Setting is Nazi-occupied France, World War II. Why it's great, emotional, intimate, unflinching, focused on women's wartime courage. It will absolutely wreck you in the best way. Yeah, I agree with that. Okay, All the Light We Cannot See. Yeah, I just mentioned that too. France and Germany, World War II. Why it's great, lyrical writing and a focus on two young people, a blind girl and a German boy who lives intersect in occupied France. Yeah, this one was really good too. Oh, this one, I think I actually have this one on my shelf. Oh, that's really sad. I did not see that one. Why did I not see that one? Maybe I really feel like I do have this one on my shelf. Maybe it's like kind of buried behind my other books. This one's called The Book Thief by Marcus Zusak. It's setting Germany, World War II, narrated by death itself. Why it's great, heartbreaking and beautiful, suitable for both adult and teen readers. One of the most unique narrative voices in historical fiction. Oh, you know what? I don't have this one. I have The Kite Runner, and I have not read that one. Um, And another one was A Thousand Splendid Suns. See, this is why I ask cheap ChatGPT for things, because I start really reviving my brain and jogging it. So um I definitely have this on my want to read list, that Marcus Zusak, the book thief. I want to read that book so bad. I don't know. I really need to, for 2026, I guess I'm saying it right here. I need to at least make sure I put some historical fiction on my TBR for 2026. I do not want Herkyed 2.0 taking over my reading tastes on what I want. And I feel like right now, historical fiction definitely needs to be on my list. So I'm definitely gonna make sure that that gets added. Okay, so the next, oh, excuse me, the next set that is on my list, or on this list, is War, Empire, and Revolution. Number 6, A Tale of Two Cities by Charles Dickens. Setting, London, Paris during the French Revolution. Why it's great. A classic exploration of sacrifice, justice, and rebirth. It was the best of times, remains one of literature's greatest openings. I do have a very special edition of Charles Dickens' A Tale of Two Cities, and yes, I want to read that book. It's been a bit since I've read that one. I think it's been like early 2000s since I've read that book, and I really need to read it again. I love Charles Dickens. His writing just absolute, just amazing. So, number 7 on this list is War and Peace by Leo Tolstoy. Its setting is in Russia during Napoleon's invasion. Why it's great, monumental and philosophical, sprawling battles and deep human reflection. I need to read this book. I need to read it like ASAP. um, I believe it's one of the classics I would love to read as well. Um, but yeah, it has to be read. I have to read that one. Gone with the Wind by Margaret Mitchell. Oh god. Every time I see this title, I'm like, ugh. Everyone that loves romance, yeah, I know everyone wants to read this book, but not me. So the setting is in American South during Civil War and Reconstruction. Why it's great, vast storytelling and complex characters, controversial today but historically significant in the genre. Yeah, I have no desire to read that book, and I'm not gonna be picking it up anytime soon. Um, Number 9. Let's see what else is on this list. The Red Tent by Anita Diamond. Setting biblical times through the eyes of Dinah, daughter of Jacob. Why it's great. A feminist reimagining of Old Testament women's stories, spiritual, sensual, and empowering. Okay. I've never heard of this. The fact that it's got like Christian religion ties seems interesting. I'm not religious in any way, shape, or form for the record, but um sure. I mean, biblical times through the eyes of Dinah, daughter of Jacob. Oh, okay. I mean, you do you. I mean, I've never heard of that one, but you know. Okay, so the next section, global, like it categorized it for me. So this is actually pretty nice. I'm actually going to create a checklist because I kind of want to read some of these. Global and multi-timeline standouts is the next category. So book 10 is Homegoing by Ya Gyasi. Setting is Ghana in U.S. 18th century modern day. Why it's great. A masterful generational saga showing how slavery's legacy ripples through centuries. Hmm, okay. Book 11, The Shadow of the Wind by Carlos Ruiz Zafón. Zafón? Zafón. Setting post Civil War Barcelona. Why it's great. Gothic, mystery, mysterious, and emotional. Perfect for readers who love books about books. Okay. Yeah, I think I do physically own that one. My friend Kristen got it for me, and I do have that one on my list. Yes, I do see it. It's at the top of my list. It's at the top of my bookshelf, not the list. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Okay, so moving on. Let's see. Book 12. The Tea Girl of Hummingbird Lane by Lisa C. Setting China in the US late 20th century. Why it's great. Richly researched story of motherhood, adoption, and cultural identity. Anytime I see a description of storyhood of motherhood, I instantly think they're gonna just go on and on about the struggles and exhaustion of motherhood. I just instantly, like, that's what I feel gets highlighted with most of these books. Tell me if I'm wrong, but I've read The Need by Helen Phillip. I read A Good House for Children. That was strange in itself. Um there was another book that I read recently about motherhood, and I just was like, no. Let me see. I know it's gonna pop out at me as soon as it pops up. Of course, it's probably not gonna come up on. Listen to your sister. No, that's not it. Where is it? Dearest by Jackie Walters. Oh my gosh. I was so excited about this book because it just had the creep factor of, like, oh my gosh, like this kid is going to be possessed or whatever. But all they focused on was like freaking breastfeeding and just like the struggles of exhaustion of having a child. And it's like, I don't want to read about things like that because I know firsthand why, it's a struggle. It should be birth control for women out there, honestly. um, I mean, if you're into that kind of thing, I guess it is a form of birth control for you. Because yeah, it's rough. It's hard, but I really feel like if it's a fictional book, I feel like it really shouldn't be encompassed in a fictional book. But I'm getting off tangent here. What I'm saying is that most of the time when these they give a description, a story of motherhood, it's like, oh gosh, this woman is exhausted beyond belief. So I don't know. I'm on the fence with that one, but I may just give it a try, and then if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. Um. So yeah, I know I got derailed there, but yeah. Every time I see a description of that, I have to. Number 13, The Underground Railroad by Colson Whitehead. Setting is in antebellum America, a reimagined literal railroad to freedom. Why it's great, brilliant blend of realism and magical allegory, Pulitzer and National Book Award winner. Okay, I've never heard of that book, but sounds great. Um, Literal railroad to freedom. Is that the building of a railroad? I don't know. Okay, so the next section is dark, emotional, and introspective favorites. Okay, so number 14, Beloved by Toni Morrison, setting post Civil War Ohio, where it's great. Why it's great. Ghosts, memory, and the haunting legacy of slavery. Literary perfection that changed American fiction forever. Okay, that sounds kind of cool, especially since it's based in Ohio. I've never read it, nor have I heard of it. That's pretty sad. I definitely want to put that on my list. Oh gosh, more titles are popping up as I'm like reading through this. Okay, so the 15th book that they have on this list is Atonement by Ian McQueen. Ewan, setting is 1930s England through World War II. Why it's great, the ultimate story of guilt, misunderstanding, or redemption. The last pages hit like a sledgehammer. I have seen the movie for that book, but I have not read the book, and I definitely need to read that book. Um, But I just remembered the Outlander series. I have not read through half of that series. But that definitely has to be on my list. The Paris Library by Janet Skilsleen Charles. Um, World War II tale. Another one for World War II. Memoirs of a Geisha by Arthur Golden. I have seen the movie for this, and I definitely have to read the book because I heard really, really amazing things about it. I just don't understand why all these suggestions from ChatGPT are World War II based. I mean, obviously there were other ones not World War II based, but it's just really interesting how most historical fiction, when you ask it, what suggestions, you get World War II setting books. So, all right. So I'm done ranting. I'm just really curious. I would love to get your guys' feedback because I am trying to expand for my goals in 2026 for historical fiction. I really need your guys' advice on this one. So please reach out on my YouTube channel. I have access to reading comments on Spotify. Anywhere you devour this podcast, I'm sure I will be able to see your feedback. And until next time, guys, I wish you a happy reading and take care. Bye.